So, has this ever happened to you? You get this idea that to start a project, whether it's a physical project or you're going to write a story, a creative project. You're going to write a story, you're going to create a comic, you're going to finish a drawing, whatever it is, and you're all excited about it because you just came up with it, and this is going to be great. And then a week after this happens, you run out of juice, and starts becoming work, and then you just give up and you never finish. I think it happens to everybody, and today I'm going to give you 4 tips to help you actually finish that project. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years. I got a ton of projects that I started and failed to complete. I struggle with it all the time. But I've come up with some things that actually do help me actually get things done. As a professional, I'm much more successful at finishing my work at work than I am finishing my own personal stuff. And one of the tips I'm going to give you is part of the reason here. Let me start at the beginning. Enthusiasm. When you start something, your brain is throwing chemicals to your body's throwing chemicals to your brain, and it's just euphoric, and you're just getting all this energy, and it's very exciting. Unfortunately, your brain can't sustain throwing all those chemicals into your brain all the time. Like your body just can't sustain that kind of stimulus. So eventually it stops. And then that's when the enthusiasm just kind of peters out, and you're not all as excited about it. It starts feeling like it's work or whatever it is. This is perfectly natural. It happens to everybody. This is just the way your body works. So knowing that, you could plan ahead, right? So while you're still enthusiastic, it would be ideal for you to plan ahead and make things foolproof so that you could actually finish. The first thing that I would do, and that I have done, is I schedule it. I pick out on a calendar or on your phone or whatever it is, set an alarm. Whatever it is, you set a set time specifically every day at the exact same time. Try to schedule it every day so that it kind of becomes a bit of a habit. It's habitual until you finish. So set it on your calendar to do the thing, to sit down and just do it. Okay, so that's my first tip, is to schedule it. Set a calendar, a time in your day to just have it happen. A side tip to that is when you schedule it and you do it and you complete it, check it off the calendar. Make it a physical action as if that is the goal, to have done it. This is a tip from doing habits and doing all kinds of other things, but that helps. So schedule it, and then once you've completed it, the goal is not having completed the whole project necessarily, but having done it, having set your time with it, and having at least taken some time to do it. Now, the other thing, tip number 2, once you schedule it, you don't have to schedule it for a long time. It doesn't have to be like, okay, now I'm going to spend an hour working on this thing. You don't have to do that. You may, but ideally what you want to do is maybe schedule it so you can work on the thing for 15 minutes. Now, at first, when you're really enthusiastic, you're not going to do that. You're going to work on it until you're bone tired of working on it. So that's fine. Go with it. Go with it. Work with the enthusiasm. This is about when the enthusiasm runs out, when the chemicals are no longer in your brain. Then you just take 15 minutes. Maybe those 15 minutes gets you all excited, and then you just work on it'll start the momentum, which will help you work for longer. But at minimum, just 15. So like, even if you only do the 15 minutes, hey, you got 15 minutes worth of closer to finishing. So that's my tip number 2, is to at least a minimum of 15 minutes. The tip number 3 is to give yourself a deadline, and this is why I get to. That's why I get done with my work at my job, my projects at work, while my personal projects often suffer. And it's because I have a deadline. It has to get done. And there are consequences if I don't finish. So my third tip is not only to give yourself a deadline, set a deadline on a calendar, but have consequences if you don't meet that deadline. So bring a friend into it. Make a bet or something. Set some kind of stakes. Tell them you're going to pay them $40, $50, $100 if you don't finish. Something like that. Like tell them that you're going to take them out to the most expensive dinner ever if you don't finish, or whatever it is. Have there be consequences for not meeting the deadline. That way, suddenly you got a fire under you when your enthusiasm runs out. Hopefully, but it has to be something that's going to be painful for you. Okay, so something that you don't want to have happen, so it makes the deadlines doable. Which is, that's why it works for work. If you don't meet your deadline, you get a bad reputation. Eventually, you might get fired. So that's my tip number 4, is set a deadline with consequences. And that's my tip number 3, set a deadline with consequences. My tip number 4 is don't forget why you started the project to begin with. Don't forget that you started this for a reason. There's a reason why you started this. What is it? While you're enthusiastic, that's kind of what's driving you. While your enthusiasm, the very notion of whatever it is that you think is going to happen when you complete the project is so fresh in your brain that it is causing the enthusiasm. If possible, during your enthusiastic phase, write down exactly your feelings, your thoughts, why you're doing what you're doing, so that when the enthusiasm runs out, you could read what it is that you wrote about why you wanted to do this to begin with. It may feel foreign. You may not feel as if the same way, but it helps you remember that there is a goal outside of just finishing. There is a reason why you started this to begin with. Reminding yourself of this helps give you focus again. And it may trigger the enthusiasm again. Maybe. Okay, so that's my 4th tip, is remember why you started the project to begin with. There must have been a good reason. So those are my tips for helping you finish a project, help you finish a project that you may start, that you've lost your enthusiasm for. Do you have any other tricks that you do to try to get yourself to get done with personal projects? Let me know in the comments below. If you like these tips, help on my Patreon. I believe that the Patreon link is right here somewhere. I'd appreciate it if you become one of my patrons and help support me in my personal projects. And so I'll and you get to the benefits of those projects sent directly to you. All right, so thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.